Welcome to another episode of the Dibbly Dobblers Cricket Podcast. As always, I am your main host, Callum, and as always, I am joined by producer, director, dinner lady, shoe shiner, all-round numpty, Andrew.
Numpty. I like that one. You alright?
Aye, doing all right. We managed to not get washed away in the Great Perth floods of 2022.
Yeah. The annual Cherry Bank and car park disappearing act. So that did happen again today.
The annual trying to not have my house flooded act that seems to also be happening. So
yeah.
But aye.
But you were successful in not flooding, or more specifically, your in-laws not flooding this year.
Aye.
Yeah.
So far. It has been raining tonight, so
we'll see.
You almost lost a gazebo out there. So.
My gazebo collapsed at the weekend under the weight of the rain.
Oh.
Seems to be holding a bit firmer now.
It's like the weather gods know the cricket season's finished. I mean, we've had hardly any rain-offs all year. And
yeah, what was all that about?
I know. My wife is most unhappy about that fact.
Likewise. Anyway, we're just doing a little short intro now, aren't we? So basically, two things. It's only two things on this podcast tonight. So
it's probably still going to be one of the longest episodes of the year.
Probably, yeah, probably. Because later on, we are going to work out our team of the year and our player of the year as well.
Yep. So Dan Forrester can look forward to batting 8.
Yep. He said to me last week he was happy it wasn't 9. So
right, okay.
He's
9
happy
it
with
is.
Yeah, but before we get to the team of the year, we have got an interview with some of the Meagle guys following their promotion the weekend. They were successful in the playoff against Gala, so they'll be playing Eastern Premier League cricket again next season.
Yep. Raju had a stellar, was he 90 odd off 60 odd balls?
Yeah, he just they look like it could have gone either way at one point, and he just went, nah. Yeah. Not on my watch. So we will pass you over to that interview with the Meagle folks now, and we'll see in a little bit for the team of the year.
Yep.
We are delighted to be joined by the Meagle mob, as we'll call them. I don't know what I called you last take of this recording, but it might have been Meagle mob last time too. So we're joined by Captain Charles Clark, Coach Iain Persil, and opening batter Shaz Saeed, or all-rounder actually, looking at your stats. Genuine claim to that. So, thank you very much for joining us, the three of you. Obviously, promotion back to the big time secured at the weekend. We'll come to Captain Clarkey first. How was that?
Yeah, good season. Season went well. Just pleased to get back, really. It was disappointing, obviously, the season last year being relegated. So yeah, it's good to get back to the top.
And Persil, obviously, you're a man who's been
around.
More
from me, do you?
No, Clarky, it's fine. Your first answer was a lot better than that, but unfortunately, technical issues. So, Persil, you're a man who's been with the club for a long time. Obviously, you got the first bite of the cherry a couple of seasons ago. But what does it mean for you as a man who's been there for so long to see a small Perthshire village team make it up to the dizzy heights?
It's huge, Callum. Yeah, it means a lot. It doesn't happen by accident. It's a lot of hard work. Had a vision that we could do it, and a lot of people probably didn't think we could. So we had that vision first. We set out how we might do it. Few wee pitfalls along the way, but yeah, it's just great to have come as far as we have over the last probably decade, really. My memories when I was younger was Meagle was a really vibrant club, and it probably had lost its way a little bit. And yeah, we've just worked hard off the pitch and on the pitch to get it. I think we've done it really well. We've done it across the juniors, across the first team. Off the pitch is really vibrant. So it's been a whole sort of round the club progress. But I think it is important your first team is trying to do as well as it can, not at all costs, as some clubs have found at their cost. You've got to care about your juniors. We've done a lot of great stuff with the women's side of things and all sorts this year. So it's just terrific just to to see how far it's coming. And as Charles alluded to, you know, we've got up and we've had a little taste of it, but now it's about the next sitting down. We've just had a bit of celebration time. That'll carry on for a little bit more, I hope, and then we'll sit down in a wee bit later in the autumn and figure out how we keep this going. You've got to figure out how to sustain it, maintain it, and you know, set kind of new targets so we don't go backwards, really, because we hurt really badly last year going down, you know, as we know. So we don't want to go backwards again. We want to go forwards and keep growing in all the areas that I mentioned, you know, not just the first team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's great to see. It's a club that I've spent some time around, and it always seems to be busy, no matter what team it is that was playing. So I was there a few weeks ago for a junior wee tournament, and that was really busy as well. So it is clear that it's a club in great health. Shaz, we'll come to yourself. I think one thing that's stood out for me this year with Meagle is the fact that with the first team, it hasn't been a side that's relied on just one or two players. I mean, I take yourself, for example, over 300 runs in the league, 13 wickets. That's just in the league. You've got more of each overall as well. I guess, how does it feel the sort of real team ethic that's going on there?
Yeah, thanks. So I think between our team, like we've got a lot of all-rounders, and I think just in general, nobody feels like, oh, I have to turn up and you know, like I will win the game my own self kind of thing. Like we know that just about everybody is a match winner in the team. Some people, like for example myself as well, like I'm quite happy to just not be in the limelight and just do a job kind of thing. So and then as you just noticed, like end of the year the numbers are looking okay. We do know that there's we've got skills in every aspect, like spin, fast. We've got, I wouldn't call it Dibbly Dobblers, but Persil. We've got.
Oh, he fits that.
Absolutely nowadays, 100%. Sorry, Persil.
But you know, when the time has come, everybody stood up. Like, for example, for me, like when we were playing against the crunch game against Ducat, Persil took a fiver. Then we were playing against the Village Cup team. Madge scored 100. And it's not. I think the biggest difference this year for us has been like we've not relied on the pro completely. Like obviously Raju's played an absolute blinder in playoffs, but I mean I think Madge probably has, I don't know the total runs, but probably just about the same runs as Raju does, like or thereabouts, I would say. And Alan as well. Yeah, so Alan in the league especially. So you know, if you've got, and in terms of wickets as well, like before the Gala game, I was just talking about this with Persil. Like if you look at the league wickets, for example, for our team, you will see that they're so spread out. There's, apart from Hayden, I would say, like the rest of the team, it doesn't show like Meagle like it does in batting. Like we're like, I think we've got 3 bowlers in top 20, I think. I don't know how it's ended up after the last game of the season. Probably Madge is up there now, but before the Dundee High game, it was like that. So we've got quite split responsibility, I would say. It's worked out really well for us.
Yeah, I think you're right. A lot of clubs in reality, you know, if there's one or two batsmen that if in the NEC that if you get them out, you're doing pretty well. And likewise, if you see off the 2 opening bowlers, or maybe they got a good spinner, but you guys have got a depth. I mean, we had looked at, we sort of did a mid-year team of the year so far, and we were kind of shocked that we're like, there's no Meagle guys really in contention, but it's because you guys have spread it out so much. And I think it is credit to you guys that you've developed that. I mean, I suppose for you, Shaz, just sort of keep you on the mic a little bit. Obviously, I remember, I think you and I, your first season was there when I was there. And what were you batting about a lowly, about 9th or something for Kinlaw? And you've kind of flourished into, you know, a an opener in the team that's got promoted, and fine leg spinner now as well. Have you found the club good for your development?
Yeah, for sure. Like I mean, with Kinloch, it was it was a different ball game. I would say I was actually the captain just a year before I joined Meagle in Kinloch, and it was just like trying to accommodate a lot of players, kind of thing. But yeah, since I joined Meagle, thanks to actually I would say Neil Wimberley, started training with him, and he thought that I would be best placed as an opener. Probably just because my job is just to see the red ball off, kind of thing. So I'm quite happy to do that. And I think Neil saw the strength in that. So I was given a role which was really good. So I knew that for the whole season, I'm an opener, and there'll obviously be failures and whatnot. It's a new ball I'm facing. But I knew that every third game or something like that, I would score 30 plus, kind of thing. So it worked really well. And then the leg spin kind of started off, I think, a couple of years back. I think during COVID times, I think I just started bowling leggies. And yeah, I've worked with that, and just looking at YouTube videos and stuff like that, and then worked with Persil, working on varieties and things like that, and thought our team could do with a leggy as well, because we generally don't have a leg spinner in our team. So and they're always handy getting wickets and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a question of Charles given more chances this year, I would say, compared to last year as well. And it's so a bit of hard work, a bit of luck as well, with chances given as well. So mixture of that. But I would say it's just both captains, well, Neil previously and Charles now, they spot that there is something and given a good run at it. So that's why I would say the numbers are there now.
Key bowling man in the 2019 playoffs, Shaz.
Yeah, I mean, that was the tactical game where I got hit outside of the park in Falkland, and yeah, there's things happened after that the ball started hoofing and things like that. It's a mystery, but that was tactical game. That was. Yeah,
I guess. So I guess coming back to you, Clarky, that depth, I don't know, does that make your job easier or does it make it harder as a captain? Because actually you've got so many options.
It makes it easier for me. I don't have to do much. I just stand at second slip and let everyone else do a job. So
that's what your bowlers say too.
Yeah, no, everyone stepped up and everyone sort of knows their role, which is good. So when called upon, people perform. So it's all gone to plan.
Yeah, I suppose. Do you have any moments of the year where you look back at Clarky and go, obviously you do have a different role being skipper. Do you have any moments in games where you won a lot of games quite comfortably, but have you got any moments that really stood out to you, sort of in either individual performances or, tactical master strokes from yourself that you felt really changed the game? Have you got anything that stands out to you from this season?
Not that I can think, to be honest, of this season. That's I always remember actually 2019 against Ducat at Meagle. I remember finishing that game thinking I thought I did a good job in terms of in the field, but other than that, I can't really think of games that I've actually sort of. But
yeah, you just sit back and let everyone else do the work.
Yeah.
You had a pretty good one in the Village Cup.
Oh yeah, Carlton Towers. Yeah, that was a decent day. Enjoyed that one. That was about my only wickets of the season, actually. took the same number in that game than I have in the league this year.
Oh, the Village Cup! I forgot to include that. In
Yeah,
my stats,
I know, because I was looking for that in my stats and it isn't there. So
it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. Thanks, Clarky. You pointed out holes in my work. Cheers. Yeah. We'll move back to Persil. So Persil as club head coach, I believe is Andrew just called you the coach, but I think it is head coach.
Oh, sorry, didn't give you your full title.
Just the first team. No,
just first.
So it is just coach.
Oh,
Right,
well,
okay.
there we go.
Yeah, fine.
First.
So I suppose for
Coach Ed.
yourself, what are you? Obviously, I think you guys did miss out from Raju wasn't around when you went up into the EPL last time. You've had Hayden this year as well. What are you looking at from the club's point of view for maybe ways to, you know, develop into an EPL club? Because I'm sure you'll want to do so.
Yeah, we are looking at a wee bit of player recruitment. But in terms of the guys that are there, they're all good enough to play a part in the EPL. Some might not play as much as they have done, but there's quite an appetite for the boys to work on things. Something that we've tried to do, what I've tried to look at is, and this isn't to sound negative, I'm sure the guys will say I'm a pretty positive coach. I try and do things from a positive perspective, but I kind of, when we went up last time, you looked at the things that we didn't do that well. So maybe it was playing spin so well. It was, you know, we didn't hit an awful lot of sixes and boundaries and things like that, and our running between the wickets could be improved and things like that, and strike rotation. So we've looked at things, we've come a long way with some of those things, but there's no doubt we need to improve them again, because it is a hell of a jump.
Yeah.
So, you know, one or two new faces, a couple of boys continuing their journey. I mean, you look at, I think everyone's seen it with Alan Neve. I mean, what a cricketer the young man's become, and will continue to develop, I believe, because he's got the attitude and the mindset and the work ethic to keep that going. So I think we'll see. I think we'll see a few more guys. There's guys look to him, and you know, Charles leads by example. You look how Shaz has brought on like the other facet of his game with the leg spin. The challenge that I put to the guys is like, let's get marginally better at a bunch of stuff. So it might be finding the boundary. It might be, you know, that second string should blow that ball and being a backup wicket keeper. Because Peter's not, you know, getting any younger. I'm sure he won't mind me saying that. So we need options there for like the 2020 Cups when he doesn't play in that format. So yeah, there's certain areas that we need to keep progressing, and not get too carried away that we've got better at that, because that's great. We've got better at that at a level, but we're leaving that level behind. So yeah, there's a bit of sitting down to do. It's kind of happening already, I suppose, in my head. But it's thinking about things, but after another couple of weeks of toasting the successes, because you work hard, you've got to enjoy this moment, because it's quite fleeting, really. And once that's gone, then we'll sit down properly and we'll have a chat, and we'll figure out what the plan of attack will look like in the new year. Because the boys need a bit of time away from cricket. It's been a lot of cricket, the Village Cup run. That's a lot of Saturday, Sundays. It's great. There's loads more T20 cricket than there used to be, but you know, that's like Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. And the weather was so good this year that you didn't really get a breather. There wasn't really a rain off or anything. So the guys have played a lot. So they need a little breather. We need to take stock. We need to be sure that if we get players in, that they're the right players, and we want to keep our squad happy, because we need a squad, because we play so much cricket, a little bit more than anyone else. Scottish Cup, Village Cup, T20 Cup. So we need guys who are bought into the Meagle way, if you like, and mentality, and care about the club, and we've got that. So guys know that they'll be in and out a little bit, but they know they've got, when they're throwing the ball, we believe in them. They know that if they perform, Charles will invest in them more, and they know they can come to me and work on things if they're not getting in. Our challenge to our guys, if they're not getting in, it's like, well, what do you want to work on? If you work on it, put the time on task, and stick with it, and you're resilient with it, then the performances will come, and then you'll get what you want, which is, if it's to play 75% of the time, 100% of the time in the ones, then you can get that, but only if you work on things. So real shift in mindset, I would say, over the last few years, that it is a coaching culture we've tried to create, and that's a challenge for me, is to try and get more coaching around things. When I've coached in representatives, youth squads and the women's side of things, and that, you have specialist coaches. I've kind of got Peter and I've got Raju, and luckily we've got senior players who feed in, but we probably need to firm up some specialist roles as well, and bring on, who's the leg spinner after Shaz, who's the off spinner after Murray, and these sorts of things, the next keeper. So the succession planning, I think, is quite important, because you don't want your first team to get old, really, and what have you. You need to make sure that the conveyor belt's coming through, and that's kind of happening organically, but we need to be a little bit more strategic about that, I think. So that's part of it as well.
Yeah, no, I think these things don't happen by accident at the end of the day. I think it would be fair to say, for a place the size of Meagle, you guys are comfortably batting, well above your weight there. But, listening to you, Persil, that doesn't happen by accident. And I think that's something during my fairly short time with the club that I saw. You've got the usual challenges or certainly when I was there, that there was limited numbers at nets, but it felt like guys were actually putting in an effort, whereas it wasn't just rocking up and, I'll chuck down a couple overs of proper bowling and then I'll just start bowling pies because I can't really be bothered. Guys were taking it seriously and that kind of stuff. I mean, Andrew, you just bowl pies.
I knew that was coming. Absolutely knew that was coming.
Yeah, he's had a fiver this season, wasn't he? He's had a fiver.
Yeah, I know.
That's not something I can say.
It should have been 6 and win, but devastated. Not that I go on about it. Yeah.
But no, you're right. I think a lot of Scots don't get enough guys at training. They don't train hard enough. And that's a culture that we need to change, especially the way the game's evolved. There's guys still playing the same cricket that they played years ago, and the game's changed. So if you want to play like these guys you see on TV, well, you can, but you need to teach old dogs new tricks. We need the young lads coming through, playing in a certain manner. 3, 4, 5 years time reverse sweep, you can't play it, you'll not be playing this level. You know what I mean? So whereas it's still for some guys like, oh no, I don't play that. It's like, well, that's not going to be acceptable in a few years' time. A few years ago you'd get kicked out in nets for playing it. So the game has moved at a pace, and we've got to change that culture, and guys look forward to training, enjoy training. I think more colour kit and all that is going to add a bit more razzmatazz to things, which is good. But yeah, you need a coaching culture at your club, and it's tricky. There's some people that haven't really had it. As you say, they've had kind of lazy boy nets and I'll play and what have you. But if you can change that culture, you can see improvements, because I've seen some of these guys improve over the last few years, and it's just been a mindset thing. Charles is very big on having the right mindset, and he instills that in the players, and I try and push them in that regard too. And it's like, look what you can achieve if you put the time in. But you have to take the knocks in cricket. That's the hardest thing, because you try a new shot, if you put it away because it doesn't work a couple of times, then you've wasted all the time. You've got to keep at it. You can't go, I swept a few times the spinner and I top edged it. You've got to keep at it.
Yeah.
But it's creating that culture where going, no, we've got to keep doing that. So you're right, attendances have gone up and guys have worked harder. But yeah, you've got to maintain that and keep the squad happy, because as I say, some guys' roles will change, but they'll have a big role to play, because as I said, we've got so much cricket going into 2023. So everyone's got a big part to play in these days. It's like, Village Cup, you're pro and amateur don't play, so that lets someone else be the hero. Who's going to come in and Charles going to throw them the ball? Can they take a quick threefer and change the middle of the game? Can they go and score a 50 and take the game away from another team? And then get their way into the settled lineup. So when there's only 9 spots essentially available. So yeah, you're right. Got all goes back to training and that setting that tone. Guys looking forward to training and getting lots out of it and not wanting to squirrel away at the end. I think our boys just love it. And I think we've got the balance almost right of fun and hard work. You've got to work hard. You've got to spend a bit of time, throw downs, drills, bowl machine. But you've also get in the live net, make it like as much game-like as you can. But the boys will tell you sometimes, it's so hot in the summer, sometimes you'll be like, right, let's play football for a bit in the warm-up, a bit of hand hockey before we even do something. When you've got the light and it's there.
Yeah.
And then even at the end, we'll play this game called Snake. And the boys love it. And it's a serious side. It's working on reactions and helps you maybe take a worldie on Saturday, but also a bit of fun. No one's getting paid to be there. They're all amateurs bar Raju. So, you've got to have a bit of fun as well and enjoy it. And that's part of the process too, without sounding too pretentious. And, you've got to have a bit of a laugh at the same time. And that,
yeah, I mean, ultimately, it is a hobby for all of us, isn't it? So, if it's not fun, then people aren't going to give up their Saturdays to do it. That's a hugely important part of it.
It's more fun winning.
Yeah,
of course it is. Yes, and well, you've done a lot of that this year, so yeah.
We noticed that cup over your shoulder there, Clark. It's all right.
Subtle.
It's a beacon amongst the floral wallpaper that's going on.
Yeah, this is a spare bedroom. It's not my. The Wi-Fi is okay in this room, so.
But the decoration is not.
For those listening on audio, this will be a terrible conversation.
Yeah, but if they're listening on audio, then get onto YouTube.
Right. Well, I think, guys, it's been great having you on. You've had an amazing season. I think we've been accused of perhaps being biased supporters towards you by certain quarters, but you've represented we're kind of concerned with the SPCU sort of area, and I think, as you have mentioned, all the competitions you've been in, not just the league, the T20 Cups, the Village Cup, and everything else, you've represented the area, I think, fantastically, and very well done on your promotion into the EPL. And I'm sure we'll be back to chat with you guys again next season, or maybe in the pre-season, to see.
Oh yeah, we'll come knocking at the door for pre-season. Absolutely.
See if we get any less vague answers on player recruitment and things like that. So,
Just a few more days.
So yeah, huge
I was
congratulations on your
speaking to
successful season, and best of luck within your preparations for next year. And yeah, thank you very much for joining us.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Guys,
Thanks
thank
for having us on.
Good work.
Bye-bye.
And thanks again to the Meagle guys for joining us. Our first interview with multiple people,
No,
is it?
we had Jay and Chris from Glenrothes. It's the first with 3.
First with 3.
Yeah, could have been 4, but technical issues kept Peter Drummond from joining us. And some.
If it's more than 4, you've got to call it something else, Andrew. So it's probably just as well we didn't have that many.
Right.
So we did promise that we were only going to have the interview and team of the year.
Yeah, and player of the year.
And player of the year.
Yeah.
I've not got a graphic ready for that.
No,
so,
that's fine. That'll just
you
can just put them in gold at the end.
No worries. Can do
Yeah.
that.
Right. So we've
I mean,
got
both of us are colourblind to a degree, so I mean, it could be any colour.
it could. It could. Right, we'll bring
Bring it
the
across.
team of the year, an empty board for our team of the year graphic there.
Well, I think we've got a few names that we're kind of like. I think we've got 3 names. I think
Yeah.
we're pretty much settled on.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
We're like, these 3 guys are. That's a bit of a giveaway. Spoiler. It's 3 guys.
It is, yeah.
Are definites, irrelevant of the balance, because we're going to do this like we did the first one. We're going to try and, roughly speaking, put together a playing 11 rather than just the 11 best players of the year. It will be, we want it to have some sort of order. Now, given this amount of all-rounders, it's going to be ridiculous. But
Yeah, you're going to have 11 batters, 10 bowlers and a wicket keeper.
well, speaking of people batting in mental positions, I think our first person on the list scored 1,280 runs across all formats in competitions that we count.
Yeah.
Certainly, caveat that. And hopefully my spreadsheet skills are actually right. Although probably not be. There'll be something.
It looks decent. I've not done a full peer review, but it looks decent.
1,280 runs at an average of 91.43. And also wickets.
48 of them at an average of 11.85.
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously good enough for number 9.
Absolutely.
In our batting order.
Shooing at number 9.
Yeah.
What a way to kick it off. Dion Forrester. Straight in at 9. Absolutely.
Sorry, I find us far too amusing with that. That one's for you, Deanne. Right.
Right, now the serious business.
Top or bottom? Which we going first?
Don't know what kind of
Bit
podcast
forward,
this
isn't it?
is, Andrew. Right, well, I think there's been another shining light, and with the ball this time.
Yes.
Appeared on the show recently, and is Forfeishire's very own Jack Hogarth, who across all formats has taken 55 wickets at an average of 17.82. I should probably get you to do the stat bit because I'm updating the graphic. Really. That would make more sense.
Oh, it would, but that would mean that I have to have them all on my screen. I don't know what directions you're going in. So, yeah.
There's only one direction, mate.
Harry Styles and that.
Dance All Night's the best song ever.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's
Um,
terrible. Anyway, yeah.
Aye, it's terrible. That's just this podcast for you, mate. So that's all right.
Yeah, so Jack Hogarth and put him in at the bottom of the order, although he wasn't disastrous with the bat either.
Look, when your number 9 averages 91, you've got, I'm sorry, averaging 17 is definitely
Should
number
we put
11.
Jack in as our all-rounder at 8?
He's had a very good, very solid knock.
Yeah. So we'll go up to the top of the order for the other shoe-in, I guess, who kind of had that spot sewn up through the season in our team of the week.
How many team of the weeks did he make?
He
I think he was the
made-
most.
I actually think he was tied for the most
With the guy
by-
on the bottom of the list.
by the. Oh no, he was on his own. So he made 9 teams of the week. Jack and Diane made 7 each.
Also by 2. It was 2
yeah.
clear.
So Craig Wallace up the top of the order. 1,163 runs at 48.46. Actually, average maybe not as strong as some others, but it's the manner of a lot of the performances.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely
so
brutal.
destructive at the top of the order. Had quite a poor Scottish Cup for
Yeah.
his own standards, and that's definitely probably taken a hit. He only actually scored 130 odd runs in 5 innings, so actually that competition has hit his average. But the manner he's got innings off to a start has just been phenomenal, and I think most teams would love to have a guy with the ability to do that. Probably in the East, the only other team is Watsonians with Ollie Hares.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the run scoring charts, it was those two up the
Yeah.
top in the Eastern Premier. So, yeah, 4 tons, 750s.
Imagine
Pretty-
being that poor.
Pretty decent year.
Yeah, so I think that's the easy ones out the
Easy
way.
ones,
I would suggest.
So we're gonna do top order first.
Actually, there's
I'll
probably
pause.
is another. I don't know if he's quite in the same echelons of this, but I think we had a very brief skim over this. We are kind of deciding this as we go.
Yeah.
I think we have another bowler who I think we're both pretty certain on, from the survivors of the year,
Yeah.
from Falkland, and seems to be a bit of a revelation in Charles Castle.
Yes. So an overseas player that isn't an overseas player.
The non-overseas player. So we
Yeah.
got to watch him in the Scottish Village Cup final.
Yes,
Um,
because he's Scottish born. But yeah.
So yeah, and I believe from what we were hearing, he Cricket Scotland have called on him quite a number of times to go down and bowl in the net.
Well, he played Scotland A games
Played
as well,
Scotland
didn't he?
A,
So I would imagine we'll see him back in the country next summer.
I would imagine Falkland might be hoping he comes back to play for them.
Yes, I would imagine that'll be the case. Whether they're able to make that happen or not, I guess remains to be seen. But if he's represented Scotland A, maybe has eyes on full Scotland honours.
Yep.
He'll want to be back over here, won't he?
So put him in at 8.
Yeah, let's put him
Put him in
at 8.
8.
Will we really? Or will we end the joke and put him in at 9 and put Diane at least at 1?
Well, Diane's not going to be at 8, but we're just going to leave him there for just now, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Charles' stats for the year, 634 runs at 31.7, 450s, but some quite key partnerships, even when he didn't reach 50. There was,
Yeah.
particularly prior to Harsher's arrival, but even once Harsher was there was a lot of times they were collapsing, and he was kind of the guy who was still managing to stick around. But the 38 wickets at 22.21 is a very, very solid effort, particularly given that he was bowling with the pink ball. Your cat just made me absolutely cack myself there trying to open your door. And is making a fair old effort at continuing. Bowled all season. No, the Village Cup would not have, but we've not actually got those stats in
Yeah.
here. So all of those stats would come with a pink ball
Yeah.
as well, which definitely makes a difference.
Yeah,
as-
absolutely.
particularly for
Absolutely.
the seamers.
Yeah. Cool. Right, where we go next then? Will we fill that vacant number 10 spot?
Yeah, let's
Have a look at the bowlers.
let's have a look at the bowlers. So we've got we've got 3 bowlers in there already.
We do.
I mean, I think we will have a vacant 9 spot soon, but we'll carry on just now.
Yeah.
So we've obviously got 2 seamers. You've probably got an opening bowling attack in
Yeah.
Deanne and Charles, and you've got a spinner with Hoagie. So you've got a bit of variation there. So it kind of leaves options fairly well open.
Yeah, I think it does. The names that come to mind when it comes to bowlers, then, I think we've got 2 at the top end of the NEC.
Yep.
In Lewis Monroe at Aberdeenshire and Majid Rashid at Meagle, both in contention, I guess, as all rounders.
Yeah, and this is going to be part of the difficulty of this team is so many guys are all rounders.
Yeah. Dupree Stander at Stonywood Dice.
Yep.
There's another consideration. Again, though, we've got all rounder.
Probably more of a
bowling all-rounder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Although I would probably say the same for Lewis Monroe. He scored. I know he scored, and we're probably Rahul's gonna kill us for that comment, isn't he?
It's going to kill you. There's a reason I stay quiet about the Aberdeen guys. Because they'll hate you already. So it's not
Yeah. No, I think Lewis has had good performances with the bat, particularly that ton last week.
Yeah.
But he's been primarily in as a bowler in his team of the week appearances through the year.
He has, and I think to be fair to me, his league performances have been very, very good.
Yeah.
And probably actually his average is up to 15, which I mean, it's not. I'm not going to slag an average of 15 off. He does have the advantage of he bowls with that red ball, which we obviously discussed.
Yeah.
You know about the pink ball for the guys who are playing the sort of National League stuff. When it came to T20s, to the sort of Cali region, well, he was in the northeast section of the Cali qualifiers, but he didn't seem to bowl a massive amount. They seemed to open with Bain and Cumming. Seems to ring a bell. So I mean,
Take your word for that.
he had limited opportunity a little bit to whereas Majid bowled throughout all the competitions,
Yeah.
he maybe had slightly limited chances to sort of boost the average on that front. But those 2 are probably very comparable. Dupree Stander, you've got Forfeisher's opening bowling for most of the season opening bowling attack, and with Bryce Elchin and Scott Cameron.
Yeah, although if you actually look at the team of the week, with Scott made the team of the week 3 times. The 2 final weeks of the season because
Yep.
of his finals performances. And then his other team of the week performance was actually for a bowling performance where he took no wickets. as
Yeah,
well.
in the
It was
Scottish
a cup
Cup.
again
Yeah.
as well. So I guess Scott produced some big performances,
Yeah.
but was he a consistent standout across the season?
No.
I'd probably not be inclined to include him.
Right. Okay. Oof. No. I think that's probably fair enough. I'm just trying to have a quick squint through you've got lots of the NEC. I mean, we have said throughout this we take players where they perform, but we do have to also still make allowances for the fact that guys, the National League do play with a different ball, and that undoubtedly does make a difference.
Yeah.
And my inclination personally would be for the next bowling spot. My pitch would be Dupree Stander at Stonywood. I think if you take a guy that's played all pink ball cricket all season and comes back with 33 wickets at 20, I would be taking that above guys who have lower sort of mid-lower teens but higher 30s. I think as a bowler, because we probably don't need any of these guys batting.
Yeah, okay.
I think that would be my
I think
pitch.
that's fair. So we're going to pop him in at 10. Right. Is this the point where we make that number 9 spot vacant so that we can actually see what we're building now?
Let's
do that. So I think Deanne's going to settle into the order at 4.
I think so. He's scored so many runs. I suppose we should bat him
Where he batted.
where he bats.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just checking the spelling of Dupree's there. It's probably when I've typed it wrong, but I believe it's
It's
double.
pretty much as it sounds.
I don't know how things sound, Andrew. Right. So,
Yeah.
do we want another bowler, or do we go? Do we venture in to the middle order, and then we can maybe see how. Oh no, I've not moved Ian.
You've not moved Deanne yet? No. So do that.
I just wanted to carry on the joke. I know he loves being down there.
Yeah. Right. Let's. Actually, I know middle order's probably going to be our problem area, but I think there's one standout again in the middle order that we have to include. He only actually batted 13 innings. But Strathmore's Tian Brits scored 879 runs at an average of 87.9. 5 centuries and 2 50s. 5 centuries in 13 innings.
And a number of those innings were against National League opposition as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not like he just bashed minnows.
Yeah, no, he scored some proper.
And even his NEC runs were actually predominantly against the bigger sides. I think when we look back through it. I'm happy enough to get Brits in. I think if you didn't have injury, I'll be honest, I think he'd have probably been top of the run charts by the end of it, the way he was going.
I could have seen him scoring 15, 1600 runs.
We're putting him in at 3. He opened in T20s. He batted 4 more so on a Saturday.
It's either 3 or 5, isn't it?
It's 3 or 5,
Yeah.
but
let's stick him at 3 at the moment, and then we'll see
we'll see where the land lies.
Yeah.
Right. The middle order is packed full of options.
Yeah.
So I think personally we should get the other opener out of the way. I think
Right,
there are less options there.
Yeah.
In my mind.
There are still a few.
There are still a few,
Yeah.
but that tells you how many middle order options we've got.
Yep. So I'm going to reel off some names that I would have in contention for that second opening spot.
Now, if you want to name me, that's okay. I don't mind.
No, because this is for proper cricket, not what we played.
That's rude.
We mentioned him for a bowling spot, but Majid Rashid, 749 runs at 34, opening. Jack Mitchell at Huntly. I don't have his stats in front of me, but he had a solid year as well. And then I think there are 3 candidates from the Northern Lights, probably. Yep. So you've got Becky Glenn, Ailsa Lister, and Megan McCall. I think all have to be in consideration. I think of the 3 of them, well, I'm kind of doubting myself as well. I think the way that Ailsa Lister has played her innings has just been absolutely brutal.
2 turns of us from her 6 innings. It has been incredibly destructive. The only other one, I don't know whether, just because we've got Tian Brits in at 3, and I know we're kind of wanting to try and pick it as it is, but it's whether it's would we consider a 3 to bump up to opening, or probably my 2 number 3s that spring to mind is you've got Forfisher's Jack O'Neill, who's been very good all round, and the other one is Samuel Cookinitz up at Huntly.
Oh, yeah, 755 runs at 58 from Samuel Cookinitz.
And 23 wickets at 17.61. So, I mean, a
Yeah.
fairly solid season. Jack Mitchell averages 30 with the bat, but averages 9.7 with the ball. So, I mean, he's doing pretty well. I would probably, at this point, go, I don't know if 30 really cuts the mustard for making Team of the Week as an opener. it's maybe a consideration for the conversation for a sort of all-rounder spot.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. Let me have a quick look at some other stats. You can fill some chat for us, Callum.
Fill some chat.
While I just consider the options that we've got on the go here.
I don't know what you want me to fill the chat with, Andrew. But, we're considering the openers. So we've got Jack O'Neill. He's averaging around about 30. I think the slight thing I would give Jack with that is that the standard that he's playing, I think he's 31 is average, but he's, it is a much higher standard. He's also contributed 29 wickets with the ball.
So I think I am between Megan McCall, who averaged 62 from 9 innings, 2 tons and a 50, and Ailsa Lister's 58.6 average with 200s from 6 innings. I think I would land on one of them for the other opening spot.
Right. So we don't need a wicket keeper because we already got Wallace. So,
Did Wallace actually keep that much?
I don't know. I mean, whenever I saw the footage, it was Callum Garden behind the stumps.
Yeah, so although, it's exactly the same. I didn't actually see him keeping. So
what you
do we have a keeper?
Potentially don't have a keeper on that basis.
Yeah.
I mean, if that is the case, you would be suggesting perhaps that that really gives Ailsa Lister potentially for the balance of the side.
Yeah.
That you probably have to, if we're actually ruling Craig out as an option with the gloves, that probably means you're only 2 options for looking at opening, because I can't think where else you'd get a keeper, and you probably would have to drag Kenny Reid's name back into the conversation a little bit more so.
Yeah.
And say it's one of those 2. Although I know Kenny was keeping less, so actually no. Let's go Ailsa Lister.
Yeah, let's put Ailsa Lister in there, I think. She'd had a destructive year. So we'll put her in there.
Right.
I'll be very intrigued to see how much there is in common with this team of the year, with the team of the year so far we did a couple of months ago. It's not looking dissimilar at the moment.
Well, I've saved over the image, so I don't remember what that team was. We'd have to go back on our Twitter and find it.
I'm not sure it ever went out on the Twitter.
All right,
actually,
we'll have to drag ourselves back through the episode.
Yeah.
You do that while we're recording. That'll be fine. Right, so we've packed in our top 4. I think we have to deal with this middle order problem, because part of it is the fact that actually there's most of the guys that are in the middle order contention also bowl.
Yes.
So we've got our next highest run scorer for the combined over the year is Usman Saeed.
Yeah, Perth Ducat's overseas player, 1,186 runs at an average of just shy of 70. Only 1 century.
You found he had 4 90s, was it?
It was 4 or 5 90s, which...
So, I mean, they're still counting as very much match-winning
performances.
Big
runs.
27 runs at
27 wickets.
27 wickets. If he's only got 27 runs, he's certainly not in contention. 27 wickets at 21 as well, so, gives... Bowling spin, which could be something that's important for
all-round contributor, definitely.
Another overseas professional who also bowls a bit of spin was Raju Gayashan of Meagle.
Yeah.
With 1,054 runs at 55.47. 3 tons, however.
Yeah. 3 tons, 650s. So I guess if you're 9 scores over 50 compared to Usman's 12 over 50. I
suppose we also have to look at value of performances, though. I mean, obviously, Raju stepped up in the playoff game.
He absolutely did, yeah.
That's been something that has been part of the consideration all season.
Yeah, it's the value of the performance. 21 wickets at 21.67.
So very much cancelling each other out in a lot of regards there. I think Raju bowled less this year than he has previously.
Yeah.
I think Samuel Kukunitz has to come into consideration. I know because we could bring Tian Brits down to 5, and bring him in. 755 runs at 58 no tons, but was constantly, I don't know how many team of the weeks he made, but he seemed to constantly be there. It was either him and his brother.
Samuel Kukunitz.
And also 23 wickets at 17. So again,
3 team of the weeks.
Only 3.
Usman made 6. Raju made 4.
Okay.
So only Wallace Forrester and Hogarth made more team of the week appearances than Usman Saeed, which I think that counts for something as well.
Well, that does have to count for something.
So I think Usman's taking up one of those spots.
Right. Okay. Well, Usman batted 5 predominantly this year.
Did he? Or did he
I
bat?
believe he batted, because I was surprised that he was batting 5.
Yeah, because
he
they
had
had
previously batted 4.
Yeah,
Because they had. I'm trying to remember who the
it
other.
would tend to be Musakir Hussain and Babar Ali opened a lot. Tasawar Hussain was in the top order as well, and Kash Khalil was in and out of the top order,
Yeah.
I think, wasn't he?
I'm sure Usman was predominantly at 5.
Yeah.
Right, I'm happy enough to say that Usman gets there.
Yeah.
So another consideration, not the volume of runs, but the average is very high and up there, is Michael Leask, 678 runs at an average of 61.64 and 22 wickets at 19.
Yeah, again, pink ball, a lot of T20 stuff in there, I think, in his.
Yes.
I
matches. Thought that, but actually, it's no 12 of his 15 innings came in the one-day format.
Right. Okay. So.
But very strong in T20 finals day.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the Scottish Cup. A guy with probably limited opportunities in comparison to some of the people we've got here. Strong top order, batting 5, 6, kind of probably coming in to hit, which is his key sort of role. I'd suggest the average of 19 is very strong when you consider the standard, playing with a pink ball. It's genuine all-rounder at level. I think you can make an argument that 21 isn't a leading light bowler. It's a good bowler in the NEC, but it's not a leading light.
Yeah.
Lewis Monroe probably comes into this. Does he come into the conversation? He's maybe a bit high up the order given everything else.
Yeah, I mean, what did
Alan
what he
Neve,
averaged?
639 runs at 45.64.
Yeah, was he the highest
He was the highest.
domestic run scorer?
Yes.
In-
No. In the league.
In
Yes,
the
I think
league.
he was. Let me have a quick check.
I think he was. So yeah, I would agree that he has to come into the conversation as well. Looking at averages, Safi Sharif averaged 87.83 from 8 innings, 527 runs with 2 not outs.
I think the biggest problem I think with a packed middle order like this is it's not saying that he's not worth mentioning. I think he just hasn't played enough.
Yeah, only
Would be
8.
that when
Yeah.
we're talking team of the year, I think 8 innings just isn't enough to get. I mean,
Yeah, and I think on the same basis you would exclude Vihan Luba of Arbroath. Again, only 8 innings. Yes, he scored 451 runs at 64, but just not the volume of performances. Harsha Khoury at Falklands, 549 runs at an average of 61.
I mean, I have to be honest. If you, he was the name that jumped into my head, and I would say, as much as I'm happy enough having Usman in there, I would say that Harsha has to be in there because I think Harsha is the reason that Falkland finished 8th in the EPL.
Yeah.
And average is 61, but it's a much higher standard of cricket.
Yeah.
Than what it is. He towards the end of the season was kind of carrying that batting lineup on, on his own. He was certainly if that's unfair, he was certainly the glue that was holding the whole thing together.
Yes.
I
would
and
agree.
I think actually above Usman, I think Harsha is the name for me that in that middle order has got to be there.
Right. So, is that our 5 and 6, I think? We're putting Harsha Kuri in and at 5 and Usman Saeed in at 6.
And it's 6. Yeah.
Let's do that.
Let's go with
Let's
that.
see. That leaves us with 7 and 9 to fill. So, what do we want from a number 7?
I think we could do with a spinner. I think we could do
Okay.
it with a finger spinner. I know Usman did take wickets as a spin bowler, and you could argue is maybe a second spin option, but I think in our 2 spots that we have got left, I think you've got 3 seamers. I mean, Harsha can bowl spin as well. I don't think bowled a lot this year.
No, only 12 wickets.
Um,
Let's have a quick look then at. There is one person who made 5 Team of the Weeks. I'm just going to check their overall stats. 17 wickets at 25. Does that cut it for a Team of the Year? 611 runs at 33. So Gareth Walmerans of Stonywood Dice.
I think there's also another consideration here. I don't think Castle would necessarily be out of place batting at 7 in this team either.
Yeah.
I would like to see a spinner, and I think given what his batting was as well, I probably at this point would be pitching Michael Leask for the number 7 spot. If we're also trying to look at a team that is actually balanced how you would want it to, if you're turning around and going, you want your finisher in there, I mean, I probably would suggest he's the best in the country.
Yeah, I don't think there is a better finisher in Scottish cricket.
And
than-
obviously, we're trying to not take into consideration other things. The guy's averaging 61 with the bat, 19 with the ball. Big hitter, spin bowler. I think gives you your second spinner.
Yeah, Michael Leaskin at 7. So, we have got our frontline spinner. We've got plenty of part-time spinners. We've got loads of seamers. Yeah, I think... Is it another seamer at 9?
Do we have a... I think we've almost got room to pick whoever we want.
We do. It could be... Yeah, it could just be anyone. Right. Let's
Could
have
just
a
be
quick
anyone.
look. It
If
could
you-
be.
again,
Right.
if you
Yeah,
want-
I mean, that
If
team's
you want
so
to
good.
pick me in the team,
Right.
it's not a problem.
So who have we got that? I'm looking at our team of the week.
Right, who
Volume of
Yeah, I was
appearances.
gonna say,
Okay.
who's
So we've got 2 players that have had 5 or more team of the week appearances that aren't currently in the side. They are Gareth Walmerans, as I've just mentioned, and Majid Rashid are the 2 that are left. If you then go into players with 4 appearances, Becky Glenn, Hasib Kiani, Jack Mitchell, Jack O'Neill, Lewis Monroe, Raju Gayashan, Safi and Sharif.
who we've discounted already.
So we've discounted Safi, although 8 appearances and 4 team of the week appearances. That's some strike rate. But
It is. But I think,
yeah, I agree.
I
I do
just
agree.
think we'd
Yeah.
be at a point of.
Yeah.
This is a tough pick.
Joint leading wicket taker in the NEC is in there.
Is that Majid?
No, so that's Lewis Monroe
Lewis
with
Monroe.
35 wickets, joint with Diane.
I mean, I've not faced both of them this year, but this is going to really offend them. I know which one I would rather face, and on past performances, and one of them got promoted and one of them didn't. So,
Oh, you're not for making friends with this episode, are you?
oh, absolutely not.
Right,
Um,
who you picking?
I am truly struggling. We could have a left arm option. Greg Chambers at Falkland, who took 30 wickets at 24.83, just as a left field option.
It is. Was there ever? Did he make team of the week at all, Greg
Once.
Chambers?
I think.
Once.
Did he not take a 4-for against Stonywood Dice or something like that?
It's not on my list, but that doesn't mean that he's not there.
I seem to recall he took 4 wickets right at the tail end against. Was it not? It was Standard or Walmerans. Looked like they were carrying Stonywood Dice home, and I'm sure he came in, and I think Jack Henderson took a wicket, and then I think the last 5 fell quite cheaply.
Nah, not a team of the week appearance in there. So
I thought he did. Maybe it was one that we pulled.
yeah, might have been in consideration, but didn't make the final cut. So yeah, I think to have been in team of the year, you have to have been in team of the week at least a couple of times. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a tough one.
It is a tough one
Because there's very little separating
Does-
Luther and Majid Rashid in terms of.
Does Samuel Cookinet's come back into the
Well, yeah, I mean he's
chat here as
another
well?
consideration. I don't know what he bowls. No clue. I've never watched any Huntley footage. You've got Fergus Duncan, took 29 wickets at 14.
Yeah, he had a strong finish to the season,
Yeah.
Fergus Duncan. Yeah.
The other one is, I don't remember if you said him because I feel like we've thrown out every name who's played cricket this so far in the region. I mean, Jack Mitchell's 9.7 average has to surely be there or thereabout. Here's another one actually. We mentioned her sister earlier. Kirsty McCall, 16 wickets at 8.81.
Yeah, that's
In the Premier League, 13 wickets at 7.38. I mean that's. I think that would have made her the second leading wicket taker in that competition.
I think you could be right. I think you could be correct. I'm trying to see if I can see a video clip of Samuel Cookinet's bowling.
The problem is, as you delay it more, I'm just gonna have to keep filling. I'm just gonna throw more and more names out there.
Just do it. Who else we got? And there doesn't seem to be a clip of Cookinet's bowling because, yeah, the one game that's been live streamed where he's taken a wicket, the feed just didn't work. So
that's always good.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
yeah,
anyway.
I think that's it's a difficult one.
So, Kirsty McCall.
I mean, that's 8. That's 2 wickets, I believe, for every game that's been played.
Northern Lights, Kirsty McCall, 2 Team of the Week appearances as well. So that's like a 1 in. How many games did you bowl in?
I believe it's 8.
But
It's 8 batting innings is what I've got. I've not actually got a note of the number of bowling games. It could be 9.
yeah, okay.
Certainly not making it on the batting front. That's an average of
No, but
3.24. So
it's better than my average for the
Hoagie
year.
would get Hoagie would get a bump up. But no, definitely.
I think that as a standalone bowling figures. Yeah, let's put her in at 11. Let's do that.
I think so. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, it's and I know we've discounted people. we've discounted male players who have only played 8 games, but that's also 8 games in comparison to other male players who've played 20 odd games.
Yes, yeah. Like 8.
We can't discount 8 when that's basically the length of the season.
Yes,
like
absolutely
so
agree.
Just in case anyone gets the knickers on a twist about us not applying the same logic, we are.
Yeah. No, I agree. So bump 10 and 11 at one spot and put Kirsty McCall in at 11. And I think
that is us once
that's our team of the year.
Right.
So we'll go through that. So opening the batting, Craig Wallace and Ailsa Lister. Tian Britz at 3. Deanne Forrester at 4. Harsha Khoury at 5. Usman Saeed at 6. Michael Leask at 7. Charles Castle at 9. And then when the graphics updated, we'll have Dupree's Stander at... No, he'll be at 9. Charles Castle at 8. Dupree's Stander at 9. Jack Hogarth at 10. And Kirsty McCall rounding off the team at 11. There we go.
Yeah, so what have we got in there? We've got Forfarshire are in 3 times. Northern Lights are represented twice.
It's another Forfarshire player, though, for Northern Lights.
Yeah, but in as a Northern Lights player.
Just saying.
Strathmore, Aberdeenshire.
Stoneywood Dice, Falkland are there twice.
Perth Dooket. And that's us. That's our team of the year. I think that's a pretty good team.
That would cause some damage.
I mean, the depth of that batting lineup is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Jack
that's what
legitimately legitimately batting at 10. He is a lower middle order player. He's not a tail ender.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, there's been fantastic cricket this season, and a lot of it as well.
Yeah.
I think when we started doing this and we're doing our graphics and team of the weeks and all these kind of things, as we mentioned, there's been no rain. There's been hardly any games rained off.
Yeah.
I don't think we expected to have quite so many stats to go through. The introduction of the Northern Lights team has meant we've had the Women's League and T20 to follow as well. So there's been lots and lots of cricket. Inevitably, people will disagree with what our team of the year is.
They will. And they're probably there's going to be much disagreement with our player of the year shout as well. I think there's one standout in that team, isn't there?
Yes. I think the stats, even with the standard differential, you also have to say, well, you can only perform where you can perform.
Yeah.
And averaging 91 with the bat and 11.85 with the ball. I mean, you'd be close to team of the year consideration with just one of those stats. So. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Deanne Forrester, player of the year,
batting 9. No, yeah. And I'm sure almost took Aberdeenshire there with the help of Lewis Monroe. If Twitter's to be believed, it might just be Deanne himself next year, but we never know. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, it's always the rumours.
It's always the rumours. I had the Meagle lads been coy with us as well tonight, and
I know.
We'll look forward to that during the off season. But that does round up our coverage. Don't know if you want to flick back to that.
Yeah, we will. All right, producer. I can't find my cursor.
Come on.
There we go.
This is the thing. I open up with producer.
To the end of this episode, to the end of this season, we're going to have a little bit of a break.
Yep.
After this week. Our intention is to come back with some stuff around about the World Cup. That is only about 6 weeks or so away. Not even that, actually, is it? Maybe only 5.
So my work dies down, so I've actually got time to prep for that.
Yeah. We will hopefully have some World Cup content when that comes round as well. As ever, please do get in touch with us on Twitter at DibDobPod. Like, share, review. and subscribe on YouTube. Thank you very much for the support that the Caledonian region community has shown us over the summer. It's been thoroughly enjoyable.
Yep.
And yeah,
Yeah, and
thanks for
hopefully
watching
we've
and
added to the
listening.
cricket season.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably not, but here's one.
Yeah. there's the odd person's enjoyed listening to our bile, but
At least we don't listen back, eh?
yeah.
Yes, no, thank you very much for joining us this season.
Yes. So we'll leave it there, and we will be back in a few weeks. But for now, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.